There are more than 3,300 fire departments that are part of the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition's Built for Life Fire Department. These are fire departments that are focusing on home fire sprinkler education in their community. And we know that the support for those activities and enthusiasm for those activities really comes from chiefs. And we've been fortunate to have IAFC as part of the Home Fire Sprinkler Coalition board for a long time. Their commitment and their work to spread that information across all of the fire departments has been really critical of how we engage with the fire service. So today I'm talking with Chief Mike O'Brien, representing IAFC. Mike, thanks for taking the time today to talk a little bit about the importance of home fire sprinklers and the work to get more fire departments engaged around education.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
Yeah, and I know first maybe we'll take a step back and talk about your personal efforts, because I know in your own community you've been very engaged in sprinklers and incentives. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. We're centered here in Brighton, Michigan. Over the years, Brighton is part of some of the fastest growing areas in the state of Michigan, which makes our developers get more and more creative for how they're providing housing stock, right? The land masses are filling up. And so over the years, we have had a very progressive education campaign through our fire marshal's office and our staff, working to get home fire sprinklers in as many townhouses, single family homes as possible. Michigan doesn't have a code requirement and we can't necessarily enact one, but we found great success when developers are struggling with how to gain access to sites, or maybe they're having difficulty with water supply. We've had really good success, and the developers over the years really have their minds change after they get into it, both the developer and the builder. They're like, man, that wasn't that bad, and it really worked out well for us. So it's been a great opportunity, and we've seen it not only in our community, but truly across. And it's even worn off. Our deputy fire chief put home fire sprinklers in his new home. And had an uphill battle. And our fire marshal just finished about a month ago retrofitting his house with home fire sprinklers too.
That's fantastic. So leading by example, as I said, that leadership role of chiefs and others in the fire service at those higher levels, really taking a very personal interest in this, and then it spreads to the communities. Let's take a bigger view of this as we look across the country and beyond of the importance of sprinklers. We often talk about the benefits to the homeowners and saving their lives and their families' lives, but this has become a real health and safety issue for our first responders, and that element is really important too, and I think is starting to resonate certainly in the fire service, but resonating in the communities as well. As, hey, if we put in sprinklers, we can better protect our first responders.
Yeah, there's no doubt. In serving on the board of directors for the International Association of Fire Chiefs, we put such an emphasis on our firefighter safety and health and wellness. And really one of the hardest things I think any of our responders ever have to do is make that decision to initiate a rescue in a very aggressive fire environment. I mean, we know how fast buildings are hitting flashover. And, even when we look at firefighter safety, our firefighters across this country do heroic things every day. And there are times that they have to put themselves in very difficult situations. And so looking for ways to engineer out the fire problem really not only helps us in those very severe scenarios, but just think of the daily occurrences, right? We are battling with firefighter cancer. There doesn't seem to be a day or a week that goes by that we don't hear about some organization who either lost a firefighter from a related on-the-job style cancer or struggling with the battle. And I gotta say, if there's no fire, we can start to eliminate that barrier specifically to cancer. But in organizations, we're all tapped with, we don't have unlimited firefighting resources. And it wasn't 3 weeks ago, we had a kitchen in a residential kitchen fire extinguished by one sprinkler. It took one company to handle that incident versus that multifamily that probably for us would have taken 5 to 7 units at least if we kept it under control in that first alarm. So there is so much value to our firefighter safety from it, right? I just purely go back and this one hit home for us here relatively recently, right? No fire, and I eliminate that exposure of all those carcinogens. I eliminate those responses of fire trucks that maybe get into accidents. And really, I think as a fire chief, right, that's our goal. We want to make sure when we truly say, I want my firefighters to go home at the end of the day, so much do we take in that it's beyond that current incident. I want them to go home at the end of that career and have a great life. And so to me, I think home fire sprinklers are part of what I think so much within the IFC, for me personally, is a passion. It absolutely, we want our citizens to be safe, but we want to take care of our firefighters and our organization as well.
Yeah, and you hit on so many critical points. And as we learn more, we know more today about exposure and the risk to our firefighters. We know more about how homes burn faster and quicker because of the way they're built and the things that we put in them. So HFSC has been around for 25 years, and we've learned a lot in that time, which has allowed us to help evolve our messaging. So you hit on why this is such a critical effort as we move forward. It's about community safety. It's about first responder health and safety. And we can put all of those pieces together as we move forward for the next 25 years. So appreciate you taking the time today, Mike, and sharing that. And we really appreciate the work of fire chiefs all across the country and beyond that are moving home fire sprinklers forward.
Well, thank you. And thanks for all that you are doing to keep this message. I have been plenty of times in 25 years that I think the groups could have said, that was it. But it took true champions like you and everybody engaged. So what an awesome thing to say, 25 years. So thanks for the opportunity.